ABC Sports presents college football today from the College Football Association. It's a Big 8 matchup, and a big one it is. The unbeaten Nebraska Cornhuskers are here to take on the unbeaten Kansas State Wildcats. Some say it's the biggest game in K-State history. Certainly, it's one of the biggest in the last 25 years. Both teams are unbeaten, so not only implications in the Big 8, but in the national polls as well. Nebraska will try to maintain its dominance. KSU trying to put an exclamation point on its turnaround. Manhattan, Kansas, where the rain has not dampened the enthusiasm one bit. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie along with John Spagnola. Gary Reasons is on the sidelines with us as well. And, John, this game can be summed up, I think, not in 2 words, but in 2 letters, QB.
That's exactly right. How bizarre is it when you lose your top 2 quarterbacks to injuries not related to football? But that's what's happened at Nebraska. Tommy Frazier's out for the season with a blood clot. Brooke Behringer has battled a partially collapsed left lung. He should see some action today, and that means Matt Turman, who's just a walk-on, will get his first career start. He was very effective last week against Oklahoma State. That's a whole different story here at Kansas State, where Chad May, who's a potential first-round draft choice, is going to direct this attack. He has a strong arm, and you know, if he gets time today, he could shred this Cornhusker defense.
Well, this is not the only big game we have for you. Coming up after this one, a doubleheader with Penn State, Michigan. Kickoff in just a minute. Way from the kickoff here in Manhattan between the unbeaten Cornhuskers and the unbeaten Wildcats. Certainly there's been a huge resurgence in football here. Let's get a report before the kickoff from Gary Reasons on the sideline. Gary.
Steve, the weather is pretty bad here today. It's been raining all morning. 50% chance of rain the remainder of the day. The field is slick. I think it's going to favor the Cornhusker running offense. Chad May and the Kansas State Wildcats are going to have trouble holding on to the football and passing downfield. The wind is coming left to right across the field. It's going to be an interesting contest. Steve?
Well, I hope you stay dry down there, pal. Tom Osborne done a marvelous job since 1973 at the helm of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, taking over the legacy that Bob Devaney started, of course. And a guy who's building a legacy of his own, Bill Snyder, coach of the year of the 90s practically, certainly in the Big 8. What a turnaround he has masterminded here at K-State. We'll give you some of the statistics of that as we go along. Scott Collins, number 15, will do the kicking off for Kansas State. The Wildcats actually won the toss, but they have elected to defer to the second half. Collins is a redshirt freshman out of Kansas City. And we have Damon Benning, number 21, and 26, Hunton Childs, 2 of the tailbacks in that Nebraska stable, back around the goal line. Childs about 2 yards deep. He'll take it out. Tripped up as he crosses the 15 and falls at the 20. Well, here's the guy that everybody has been talking about, Matt Turman, a walk-on, now a sophomore. Hasn't played much, and those numbers certainly show from a career standpoint, but he can do some things. He's got some good quick feet, and of course Nebraska's going to do pretty much their offense no matter who's at quarterback.
He knows how to run this option attack. I think he's a very talented young man with very quick feet.
First and 10 from the 20. Lawrence Phillips, the I-back, banging forward for maybe 5. Stopped by 92, Tim Colston.
Lawrence Phillips, who is only the 2nd Cornhusker running back to gain over 1,000 yards in 6 games, leads this attack. And you've got the best run blocking tandem in all of college football, Brendan Stye and Zach Wiegert. They are huge, averaging over 300 pounds across the board.
And a penalty on the first play. Phillips carry, illegal procedure against Nebraska. Our referee, Terry Turlington. So they move it back to the 15. First down, 15. Lawrence Phillips again, picking his way for about 3. It's all met in the hole by 93, Darrell Halbert. And number 28, Steve Hanks, the strong safety, came up to support.
And this defensive front's got to be active all day. You have 2 Big 8 second-teamers, Tim Colston and Darrell Halbert. But watch Purcell Gaskins, a very athletic outside linebacker. He'll be all over the field. And this secondary must be able to force the run as well, as they're going to be pressured all afternoon and have to come up quickly and make tackles against this rushing attack for Nebraska.
2nd and 11. Lawrence Phillips on the sweep. He had Wiegert out there, but another fine play by Tim Colston, number 92. Chuck Marlowe, the free safety, 21, also up there supporting well.
And back-to-back now, you see Steve Hanks and Chuck Marlowe make tackles. So that means this secondary is forcing, so far in this football game, as they put Nebraska into a 3rd and long situation, exactly what the Kansas State team wants.
So it is 3rd and 11. Reggie Ball and Abdul Muhammad are in at wide receivers, split far to the left. And he swings it to Lawrence Phillips. Cutting back. And Phillips with a first down at the 32. And again, Tim Colston, 92, made the tackle. Big play for the young quarterback, a gain of 14.
Well, it's a safe pass for Turman to be asked to throw because not a whole lot to it. But watch the ability of these two offensive linemen, Brandon Stye and Zach Wiegert, get out there and throw the blocks for Lawrence Phillips. They are running, very active guys, and they can move as well as a running back. I'm amazed at the mobility of these guys for such big people.
From the 33 on first down, Phillips nowhere to run. Met in the hole by Dirk Oaks, number 94. Got some help from Laird Beach, number 54, also.
You know, now, we look at the Nebraska attack. It's the #1 rushing offense in the country by far, by over 100 yards. Wisconsin's #2. You can see how they match up defensively with Kansas State, who is tough against the rush. And that's where this whole game, at least on this side of the football, is going to shape up today. How well can Kansas State stop this rushing attack for the Cornhuskers?
Phillips again. And again, just about a 3-yard gain. Darrell Harbert, number 93, a senior from Dallas, made the tackle. Harbert, 6'1", 280. It'll be 3rd and 5. Unbelievable average of 7.7 per carry. Phillips is not leading the nation in rushing because in college they do it on a per-game basis. And Napoleon Kaufman and others have played one fewer game than has Phillips. But he leads in total yardage with over 1,000. Turman on the option cuts it up. And another good play by Colston, who trips him up from behind, short of the first down.
One thing about these defensive tackles for Kansas State is they can run, and Colston was able to run down Turman, who turned it upfield, and it looked like he was going to get the first down. You know, he's got a lot quicker feet than Behringer, and I think he's a lot more capable of running this option attack than Behringer, who's a stronger thrower. We should see Behringer this afternoon, but this is a good defensive stand by Kansas State, as they wanted to get the ball into Turman's hands early and see what he could do offensively against the wind. So they hold.
Darren Erstad comes on to punt. Turman was hoping that Osborne would let him go for it on 4th down. Mitch Running, number 89, is back for Kansas State as usual. He calls for the fair catch and makes it at about the 17. A 41-yard punt with no return. We have 11:09 to go in the first quarter, no score, and Kansas State will have the ball. Chad May will have the offense when we come back. 2 of our doubleheader, but game 1 ain't too shabby itself. Kansas State with the hometown screaming at going on offense for the first time at their own 17. No score in the first quarter. J.J. Smith tried to cut it back and got maybe a yard to the 18 before he was pushed back. 84, Dante Jones, and Doug Coleman, 46 on the stop. And last year against Nebraska, what a day for Chad May.
489 yards. You know, if he gets protection today, he could duplicate those numbers. He is an outstanding quarterback. Total understanding of this offense, too. That's what makes him so good, and he's very competitive. And this is a guy that wants to win this football game very badly today.
Nebraska won that game despite Chad May's performance. Kansas State hasn't beaten Nebraska in a long time. J.J. Smith again. J.J. for another yard to about the 19 is all. Well,
J.J. Smith has carried the ball twice today. He's a leading ball carrier on this football team, very versatile. He's second in receiving, and Tyson Schwinger is #1 in the Big 8 in receptions this year. Again, protection's important. Barrett Brooks and Jim Hibalewski, these guys have got to protect. Again, you have a big offensive line averaging around 300 pounds. But the onus is on this offensive line to protect Chad May. If they can do that, he should be successful running this offense, and I'm sure he's going to throw right here. So we'll see what kind of protection he gets.
Nebraska linebacker Dante Jones, number 84, was shaken up and is off the field on 3rd and 8. May gets the pressure and goes down. Big sack by Grant Wistrom, number 98. Wistrom, a redshirt freshman. Actually, he is a true freshman.
That's right. Wistrom came through on the backside of Chad May, locked up against the tight end, number 80, Brian Loika, and he just battles through that block and gets to Chad May, as Chad May's attention was totally on the right side of the football field.
So Kansas State will have to punt. Eric Hardy, standing in his own end zone, kicks it right from the goal line. Kareem Moss, number 29, the guy they want to get it to, but it goes to Tyrone Williams. Nebraska's going to have outstanding field position. Just a 31-yard punt. We'll be back. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We are driving excitement. PageNet, America's #1 wireless messaging company. The makers of Advil in tablets and Caplets. And Magnavox. Hey, we make technology people want. Magnavox. Smart. Very smart. Nebraska with a great opportunity here in the first quarter. They have a 1st and 10 just outside the 27 of Kansas State. No score. Lawrence Phillips running hard down to about the 22 or 21. Purcell Gaskins, number 9, fine linebacker for the Wildcats, making the tackle.
Yeah, Phillips is only the 2nd rusher in Nebraska history to go over 1,000 yards in just 6 games. Bobby Reynolds was the other one. Of course, there's been a long line of 1,000-yard rushers here in Cornhusker history. 19 of them over the years have gone over 1,000 yards in a season.
Brendan Holbein split to the right on 2nd down. Phillips again has the 1st down inside the 15. In the grasp of Chris Canty, number 17, and 21, Chuck Marlowe, the free safety.
Well, it's a bad sign when your free safety is forced to make a tackle. But right away, there was a burst right up the middle, and there was good blocking between the guard and center for Nebraska. Before you knew it, Chuck Marlowe was the only thing left between Phillips and the end zone. Watch, right in the middle, Stein, number 66, gets a good down block, and that's it. Phillips has the hole, and he gets right through it.
1st down near the 14. Lawrence Phillips again. He dives inside the 10 to about the 7. Tim Colston, 92, and 47, Darren Holmes, the linebacker, make the stop. With a big gain on 1st down. Phillips has carried 7 times already. He's picked up 30 yards so far. You see the ball resting at about the 7.5. Mark Gilman, number 87, in at tight end for Nebraska. Holbein again split to the right. Phillips again inside the 5 to about the 4.5. Marlowe, 21, and Colston, 92, again make the tackle.
On the stop, number 21, Chuck Marlowe. Number 92, Tim Colston.
Well, right now, Nebraska's doing exactly what it wanted to offensively. They enjoyed good field position. After the change of possessions, they certainly won that field position battle. And they've got to be very pleased with the fact that they can run the football as effectively as they had hoped to coming into this football game with Matt Turman at quarterback, who is executing this offense very well so far in this football game.
Now they put Clester Johnson in the power I along with Corey Schlesinger, the fullback. Phillips to about the 3, and that's it. Colston hit him first, and he tried to spin off, but Marlowe and others were there. It's short. Well, it's going to be awful close, depending on the spot, to the 1st down marker. And it may even be close enough for them to measure. Oh, it is a first down. So first and goal from the 3. Now one of the wingbacks, John Vedro, is in the backfield. Phillips again, touchdown. Nebraska just kept hammering and took advantage of the good field position to drive it right in the end zone for the first score of the day.
And they went behind that right side combination. Brandon Stye and Zach Wiegert. Look at them just power right through there. And you mentioned John Vedro stepped into the game. He threw a good block too. And nobody, watch this right side. Watch how effectively they move people. And of course, Vedro and Corey Schlesinger, number 40, jumped in there too, made a good block. And the tight end blocked out, and that was well executed play.
Darren Erstad, and the extra point is good. Nebraska 7-0 with 6:12 to play in the first. Back in 1968, when Nebraska and Kansas State met, it was an overcast day and just about 35 degrees that November 9th. That was the time that Kansas State last defeated Nebraska. Number 11 in white, Len Dickey, threw the only touchdown pass of the game to Matt Herron, and Kansas State beat Nebraska 12-0. Right now, Nebraska leads 7-0 as Darren Erstad gets ready to kick off. Ron Brown, number 3, is back along with Mike Lawrence, 23. And Mike Lawrence is going to pick it up at about the 7. Got through a little opening and got about 5 more out across the 30. Tackled by Monty Spiller, number 41. Or Phil Ellis. Kansas State cannot have Nebraska going just 28 yards for a drive.
No, I mean, it started out where Nebraska moved the football, came back, and Kansas State got the ball in poor field position, a bad punt, a decent return, and Nebraska only had to go 28 yards in 6 plays. But, you know, this shouldn't affect Kansas State too much. I mean, certainly they are capable of moving the football and coming from behind in a football game.
Chad May on first down, completing it to his favorite receiver, Tyson Schweiger. Darren Miles wraps him up. And let's get an update from the studio and John Saunders.
Steve, Penn State against Michigan. That's 3:30 Eastern time. Back to Steve.
Thank you, John. Right here, it's second and short, second and about 5. Again, intended for Schweiger.
And of course, if Florida is knocked off today by Auburn, which would be an incredible upset, Nebraska, if winning today, would be the #1 team in the nation. A lot of football to be played before those two scenarios unwind, however.
3rd down and 7. From the shotgun. Stewart with pressure on May, and May gets it away to Ron Brown. What a catch by Brown as Troy Dumas, number 4, had the coverage, and Chad May bought himself enough time to make a big play. Gain of 22.
One thing about May, last week he was able to tear up Kansas because they didn't put any pressure on him. Nebraska saw that tape, and they know they have to get after him, but he's able to escape to his right, throw a dangerous pass, but with his arm strength, he has the confidence to throw that kind of football, and he gets it to Ron Brown for a much-needed first down for this Wildcat football team.
They have it at the Nebraska 44. Intended, I think, for number 89, Mitch Running. Tyrone Williams with the coverage.
And this defense has played so well so far in this football game. Ed Stewart is a Butkus Award candidate. Very active, fast defense, and they're going to be tested a lot today, as is the secondary, because if Chad May does get time, you saw what he can do when he's got some time to throw the football. These defensive backs are going to be under a lot of pressure all afternoon.
Penalty on the play. Referee Terry Turlington sorting it out, and it's against Kansas State.
First down.
Holding on the offense, and we're going to go all the way back because it happened behind the line of scrimmage to the Kansas State 38. First down in about a quarter mile.
We see Chad May for the second play in a row now is in the shotgun. And there are no backs in the backfield. So we'll see if Nebraska wants to exert pressure against this front because there's nobody to protect the extra man coming.
May chased out of there again. Gets it away, incomplete. Intended for Tyson Schweiger. He was out of bounds and well covered. Christian Peter, number 55, was putting some pressure on, along with Doug Coleman, 46. So it'll be second down and 28 yards to go.
And that's exactly what Nebraska did. They did bring pressure up front. That was Doug Coleman, number 46. They also had pressure on the outside, which you don't see from Troy Dumas. And again, Chad May is forced to run to his right. And I can see Nebraska is seeing a pattern there, trying to prevent him from escaping the rush to his right, because most right-handed quarterbacks obviously feel a lot more comfortable going in that direction.
5 wide receivers. He throws underneath to Schweiger. Schweiger to about the 46. Knocked down there by Dante Jones, number 84. It'll be third and long.
You can see again, it's an interesting matchup today. Kansas State averages 241 yards passing. They're not going to run the football effectively. The Nebraska defense averages 74 yards against them rushing. That's first in the Big 8 and 7th in the country. So if Kansas State wants to move the football today, they have to do it throwing the football. And the coaches told us they're looking for about a 60-40 mix of pass to run in today's ball game.
It is third and 20. And again, 5 wideouts. May finally gets it to J.J. Smith. And J.J. will be 11 yards short of the first down as he has it at the Nebraska 45. Troy Dumas, number 4, senior from Cheyenne, Wyoming, on the tackle.
So again, Nebraska's able to hold, but at least Kansas State defensively is going to enjoy some pretty good field position after this punt. And they'll force Nebraska to drive a lot more than 28 yards if they want to try and score a touchdown here.
Scott Collins trying to pooch it out of bounds. It's it very high. Tyrone Williams let it roll. It's at the goal line. It's into the end zone.
And there's a penalty because the Kansas State coverage team didn't allow Tyrone Williams to make a play on the football. They have to give him room to make a play on the football.
You got the 2-yard rule in effect. It was a 45-yard punt as it rolled into the end zone. Tell us, Terry.
He's walking a long way.
On the kicking team, 5-yard penalty, spot on the foul, first down.
There it is. You see the kick to right. Tyrone Williams, number 8, calls for a fair catch, but there's not enough room near him, and they called that penalty against Kansas State as a 5-yard penalty from the point of infraction.
That moves the ball back to the 20. First and 10. Nebraska leading 7-0 late in the first quarter. Lawrence Phillips trying to get outside. Does well to get a couple of yards. There's a lot of purple shirts over there, led by 17, Chris Canty. Well, Florida has scored, and Auburn still leads by 3 in the first quarter of that big one down in Gainesville. And we'll keep you up to date, of course, on everything that is happening, has happened, and will happen in college football today. A lot of it is still going to happen with the time of day of the start here.
Well, I heard the PA announcer here say, "Good morning, everybody."
That's right.
And he started the broadcast up from the field house here. We have an injured player on the field.
Number 93, Darrell Harbert, Kansas State's defensive tackle, down, being attended to.
We saw John Saunders, and he told us about Patrick Nix, who threw that touchdown to Thomas Bailey. I think that's a bit of surprise because Auburn could not throw the football that well going into the season, but they opened it up last week against Mississippi State, and you know, they're going to give Florida a run for their money here today. Darryl Harbert looks like he's okay as he saunters off the football field.
Phillips gained 2 yards on the play. And boy, they are packed in here at KSU Stadium and Wagner Field. The field is the field of play, the rug itself, donated by a gentleman named Wagner. Turman running the option, pitching to Phillips. Well defensed by number 54, Laird Beach. Outstanding defense by Kansas State. Let's again get an update from John Saunders.
Steve,
thank you, John. That's a big play and something that the Gators do quite well, actually.
That could be like watching a tennis match there today with all the scoring that's going on so far.
Phillips lost 4. It's 3rd down 12. He has the swing pass, but again, excellent job by the Kansas State defense. Chuck Marlowe, the free safety, 21, came up quickly, and then Niall Wyron, number 44, finished him off.
That's right. Marlowe saw that play. Recall, of course, the last 3rd and long situation the Cornhuskers had. That's the exact same play they ran. So they're not taking too many chances here with Turman early in this football game and a 7-0 lead. Again, the swing pass, getting the lineman out in front as they block and then release. You see big 66, Brandon Stye. But this time Marlowe gets right in, and Niall Wyron, 44, finishes them off. So the Wildcats recognize that play well.
Darren Erstad kicking to Mitch running, takes it at the 39. Good move. Inside the 30, the ball comes out, but he's going to be ruled down. However, we have a penalty flag back at the Kansas State 47. Darren Erstad, the kicker, made the tackle after his 43-yard punt. But there is a flag down back at the 47 of Kansas State. Illegal block in the back. And I'm telling you, you see it more than 50% of the time on kicking plays. This penalty is now called.
And watch here and see if Mike Eckler, 29, pushes in the back. No, actually, the call is on 43. That's exactly right, 43, Deshaun Fogel. And you know what? It was a little nudge in the back, but you've got to, you know, other than intent, you've got to look as an official and say, how much did it really affect this football play? But obviously, they felt that Deshaun Fogel's block in the back was serious enough to prevent the defender from cutting over and making a tackle on the return.
Well, it wipes out a 34-yard punt return by Mitch running. And it moves the ball back inside the 40.
Watch 43, Deshaun Fogel, right there. That's it. The referee looked at him, that little nudge in the back, and they will call that. The referee was hesitant to bring the flag out, but he finally did. And penalties have now hurt Kansas State in this football game. They've had 3 different penalties so far that have really hurt the field position of this offense.
On first down, they go with the 5 wideouts, and May from the shotgun from his own 37. Complete to J.J. Smith. J.J. wrestled out of bounds by Tyrone Williams, but he's very close to a first down. Hey, tonight Bob Saget stars in the ABC family movie Father and Scout. All those memories will come flooding back. And then Michael Chilka stars as the commish. All tonight here on ABC.
Again, from the shotgun, Kansas State, what I like about this is they're not asking May to hold the football very long. He's getting the ball. He's got 5 wide receivers out there, but he's getting rid of it in 2 seconds or so. Quick drop, and he's getting rid of it for some intermediate and short type passes. And I think this is the way to try to exploit this Nebraska defense now.
Second down, just a yard to go, and May gets behind his line and powers forward near midfield for the first down. Jason Pesterfield among those in there. A lot of action later and this evening as well around the country. Another one, big one in the Big 8, Oklahoma, Colorado. And later in the game, we'll be able to update you on some of those games that will then be underway. And of course, we'll do that all afternoon. First and 10 right at the 50. Kevin Lockett with a leaping grab at the 30 of Nebraska. Kareem Moss, number 29, the strong safety, had the coverage, but a good throw by May and a fine catch by Lockett.
Watch Kareem Moss, number 29. He's going to break on this pattern. There's not many quarterbacks who can get this ball in that tight an area as Chad May did to Kevin Lockett. I mean, he has such confidence in his arm that he threw that football where in most cases it would be picked off, but he's able to drill it in there. This is the confidence he has, and this is why pro scouts like him. I mean, he runs a wide-open offense. A lot of pros run this type of offense with a horizontal stretch. You can see by alignment how spread out this offense is. It makes Nebraska defend the whole field.
Nebraska with the blitz, bringing some folks. He had a little screen set up to J.J. Smith, so May purposely threw it into the ground. Jason Pesterfield was in his face quite quickly. May so far 6 of 9 passing for 72 yards.
But I think you saw his arm strength on the previous play, and you see a wise decision here, and this is why he hasn't thrown an interception in an awfully long time.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter. 7-0, Nebraska leading this battle of Big 8 unbeatens. The story here, and they're going to be the story on Monday night. Will Joe Montana play for the Chiefs against the Broncos? Of course, they got John Elway in Denver. Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock Central, right here on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Chiefs and the Broncos. Starting the second quarter, Steve Zabriskie, John Spagnola, and Gary Reasons with you from Manhattan, Kansas. It is 2nd and 10. Kansas State just inside the Nebraska 30. Nebraska leading 7-0. May firing, completing to J.J. Smith. But we have illegal procedure called just prior to the pass being made. I think they're going to just forget that play and move Kansas State back 5.
Yeah, there was confusion about the alignment. Mitch Running was out, split out, and then he came back in to line up just as a tight end position off the line of scrimmage, though. And I think they may not have had enough people on the line of scrimmage in that formation.
Tell you what, it takes them a long time on an illegal procedure call to figure out what they're going to say here.
Dead ball foul. Offside on the defense.
Oh, gee.
Ball start on the offense.
So there were 2 penalties on the play. I only saw 1 flag, but they called offsetting penalties. Illegal procedure and offsides on the defense.
You can see the offsides just on the right side as the Nebraska defender flinches. That's number 93, Jared Tomek, who flinches. And then there was some movement as well by Mitch Running. So they just called a dead ball foul and start all over here. But it takes a long time to get things back. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, they're having to reset the clock. That's part of the problem. Back to 15 minutes even, because no time should have run off the clock since they tried to stop it before the snap. 2nd down 10 again. Now May moves J.J. Smith into a wing from the slot. Lots of time. Wide open. Touchdown. Mitch Running. There was the quintessential execution of the post pattern.
It was more like a seam pattern, Steve. Mitch Running went down the left side. There's oranges on the football field. Watch him on the right side. Talked about horizontal stretch. This is vertical stretch where you just send everybody down. And that pass is beautifully thrown by Chad May. But by alignment, nobody in the backfield. That Nebraska's defense was completely stretched out. And then they just all run down the field and wait for a bust in the coverage. And that's what happened for Nebraska. So you got a touchdown here by the Wildcats.
Martin Gramatica on for the extra point. Matt Miller is the holder. And it is blocked. Nebraska does this very well, and they have done it again. The extra point is blocked after Running's 29-yard touchdown reception. Mitch Running has now caught a pass in 17 straight games. This one's a big one.
What a catch. Matt Miller, the holder, gets a snap. Watch how he bumbles it on his knee. That bobble caused the timing to break down for Gramatica, and by that time the Nebraska front had blocked that extra point, and I think it hit about 3 or 4 players in the helmet. I don't know how many guys got their hands on that thing, and kick did not go very high in the air.
Well, everybody's got to do it. The snap, the hold, and everything's got to be good for any kick to be successful. Scott Collins, redshirt freshman out of Kansas City, to kick it off. Clinton Childs, number 26, and Damon Benning, number 21, back to receive it. And Childs from the 14. Good hole, and up across the 30 to the 31. Dragged down there by Matt McEwen, number 34, defensive end. Well, it only took him 5 plays to go 62 yards in just 1:07. Just the opposite, really, of a Nebraska's drive, which was all Lawrence Phillips running the football.
And that's what's so much fun about this game, because it is such a contrast in styles, and it's the style and the execution that is going to determine the eventual winner of this football game.
Matt Turman back in at quarterback. Lawrence Phillips with a big hole. Good reaction by the free safety Chuck Marlowe. It might have been a much bigger gain for Phillips, who busted it up in there quite quickly. Lawrence Phillips, just a sophomore. He's out of West Covina, California, in Los Angeles. 6 feet, 200 pounds, and he is carrying the bulk of this offense.
And Stevie, when you have a hole like this and you have that kind of lead blocking from your fullback Schlesinger, number 40, I mean, that is just a wonderful area to exploit, and you've seen Nebraska go to it on the touchdown and go to it here in their first possession here, or the first play, I should say.
On 2nd and 1, Phillips is close, thrown back after being grabbed around the feet by Tim Colston, and then Deshaun Vogel, number 43, got in there. Penn State, Michigan, 2 top 5s coming at you next. Second game of our doubleheader. As soon as we're through here in Manhattan, we go up to the big house.
Kerry Collins is leading the nation in passing efficiency. Who would ever expect that from a Penn State quarterback?
They can also move that ball pretty well on the ground, though. How about those running backs? Tyrone Wheatley and Kajana Carter both in there in that game. A little bit short, about a foot short of the first down. So it'll be a foot beyond the marker, I should say. It is a first down. It's at the 42. The Huskers marching again. Phillips nowhere, may have even lost a yard. Kelly Green, number 91, Dirk Oaks, 94. Green is a senior from right here in Manhattan, and Lawrence Phillips will come out of the game.
But Green is part of this tackle rotation. You can see number 91 standing up, his blocker coming off his block nicely, and that's one of the keys to this game today. We talked to Jim Levitt, the defensive coordinator. He said we have to maintain gap responsibility up front, and we have to get our guys off of blocks. That time Kelly Green did a great job at getting off his block. Clinton
Childs, 26 in it, the I-back, and Turman will throw it on 2nd and 11. It's complete to the tight end, Eric Alford. No, he did not hold on. He had it and could not maintain possession, and it'll be 3rd and 11.
Well, when you run for 400 some yards a game and you play action, it's usually pretty effective. Alford came around, actually made the catch, and as he was trying to put it back in safely away, that's when the football came out. So it was a drop, and that's just as a receiver not concentrating on the ball all the way till it's safely in your stomach. He's the leading receiver in yardage for tight ends. He averaged, he has 4 catches for 116 yards so far this year, so they like to go to him.
The fullback Corey Schlesinger on 3rd and 11 will gain just about 5 out to the 46 is all. Kirby Hocutt, number 45, the leading tackler, and now limping coming off the field, made the tackle. So it'll be 4th down as you again look at the schedule of games today. Mitch Running drops back to receive. And there's Running. And Darren Erstad, number 6, is on to punt. Erstad has the wind at his back. Under some pressure, he gets it away. No flag. Running at the 10. Hammered, and the ball comes out. They're going to say it was whistle dead, however, and they'll give him forward progress to the 14. A 44-yard punt. John Vedral, number 25, down there to make the hit and wrap up running. 12:24 left to go in the second quarter. It is 7-6 Nebraska. I want to remind you that at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. For the 24th year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. The name of those respective players. Well, the next time Chad May throws a pass, if it is not picked off, it's going to be a new Big 8 record for a single season without an interception. But he hands it off to J.J. Smith, and J.J. is going nowhere. Nebraska with outstanding penetration. Phil Ellis, number 41, led the charge, and then the safety Eric Stokes, number 16, came up quickly.
You know, this is why Nebraska is so hard against the run. Troy Dooms actually overruns the play, number 4. I thought Smith had some room, but that inside pursuit from Phil Ellis and company just prevented him from breaking that outside, and he had to do all he could just to hold on to that football.
He lost a couple. Second down, and about 13 yards to go. May with time, looking for Kevin Lockett. Lockett at the 44.
I'll tell you, this kid is unbelievable.
Leslie Dennis, number 2, had him covered beautifully, but the ball was thrown perfectly.
The ball was thrown perfectly, and if it's not a difficult catch, Lockett's not going to catch it, it seems. He dropped a couple last week, then made a beautiful one-handed catch. And look at that. I mean, the body control, knowing where the boundary is, keeping his feet down as he jumped in the air and catching that. I mean, that is beautiful execution by a wide receiver. Again, Lockett, you know, is a spectacular receiver, but he's had some concentration problems. Has dropped some this year.
Well, that was a 32-yard beauty, and it's first down Kansas State at their own 44. They are going with this spread formation on every play. And now movement, flags fly. Nebraska says they were pulled off. It may have been Chris Oltman's number 63 that moved. And now that was number 139. So that's a Big 8 single season record for attempts without a pick.
He's got a ways to go to catch Mike Norseth, who over a couple of seasons has quite a few more pass attempts without an interception.
Ball starts on the offense. Repeat first down.
Norseth played at Kansas, but I tell you, this is a beautiful way. Here's Oltman jumping. See how he just flashed an anticipated movement. And that's called on the offense, even though he's in a 2-point stance.
That moves the ball back to the 39, where it is 1st and 15. Under pressure, incomplete. Intended for Mitch Running. But Nebraska really came up the middle strong. Ed Stewart, number 32, blasting in there, got to Chad May in a hurry.
Yeah, and Christian Peter, 55, exerted some pressure too. So again, but you see May, I mean, he just got rid of the football quickly. I don't think he wants to take any more sacks. With this spread out offense, he can identify potential blitzers, and he knows where his blockers are up front. And when he feels the pressure, he's just going to squeeze that football and get it out of there as quickly as he can.
Second down, 15. Dumas trying to come on a blitz. Flags fly, and the pass intended for Smith is out of bounds. Dumas was trying to time the snap for Nebraska and may have anticipated a tad too soon, which is more than a smidgen.
So they get their 5 yards back.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty.
A lot of activity on the right side of the street. There's Dumas, number 4, who gets a little anxious. That ball snapped. He doesn't get back in time in the neutral zone. So it's a tit for tat here as you have movement on the offense on one play and offsides on the defense. And we're back to 2nd and 10.
Doing the 2-step. 5 back, 5 up. 2nd and 10 back at the 44. And Nebraska all over the place again. I think they made contact, but it might have been the time ran out on the play clock. As the play clock is down to 0.
Dead ball foul. Offside.
No, it happened before time ran out.
And right on the right side there, Christian Peter, number 55, makes some contact as he jumps across into the neutral zone. So again, Chad May not only audibling, but varying that cadence and drawing Nebraska off the sides here on successive plays.
And Dante Jones was in the backfield on the far side. He did get back, but the contact is what the penalty was called. So it's 2nd and 5 now at the 49. And Chad May will try to run it up. He has the first down.
He's being foolish there.
Yeah, he should just get down after he crossed the 40. Dante Jones and Ed Stewart finally get him down, but he gains 13 and a first down.
No time to be a hero here. Nebraska plays a lot of man-to-man defense. And when May recognizes that everybody's covered, he also recognizes that nobody's covering him. Now here he's past the yard marker. You saw that. Get down. Protect yourself. You can't get hurt in this football game. This team needs you too badly for this game and the rest of the season. And I think this is where the adrenaline and the competitive spirit he has forced him to stay up when he probably should have used better judgment.
He did move the ball down to the Nebraska 38. Where it is 1st and 10. And now time is called. Timeout, Nebraska.
Timeout, Nebraska.
As you see, just under 11 minutes to go in the first half, and a 1-point Nebraska lead. It is jam-packed. SRO. They're all over the place. They added 3,000 folding chairs to that far end zone, you can see, and it still hasn't been enough. They're all over the banks, and if they could get in one of these buildings around here with binoculars, they might do that too. 1st and 10, Kansas State. Schweiger hammered as the ball got there, and it's incomplete. Excellent play by Baron Miles. Number 14, timing it perfectly.
Baron Miles is a great one-on-one cover guy. You know, last year he played against J.J. Stokes, and there's only 1 or 2 corners to keep him out of the end zone all year last year. Recognized the hitch pattern and came right in. And Chad May gets hit too by Stewart, but he lays off to not draw the penalty. And had he driven him into the ground, he would have got a flag.
I like that little extra shoulder, though, that Stewart gave me. I hit him, and then I hit him again.
Hey, there's some jawing going on down there. These guys want May to know they're going to be in his face every time he gets rid of that football.
I'll tell you what, they got 2 teams that are ready to play today. J.J. Smith spinning near the first down inside the 30. Safety Eric Stokes and Tyrone Williams, 16 and 8, make the stop.
Let's J.J. Smith spin out of the grass with 41. Phil Ellis with a great spin move right there. Ellis overcommits as he gets close to the first down marker. You know, this is the only play in quite some time that May was under center and he had it back behind him. Nebraska's got to be alert for that. They've been in that 5 wide receiver set for most of the first quarter and part of the second quarter here.
3rd and 1. They have 5 wideouts, but May from center trying to sneak for the first down, and it's going to be very close.
Ball carrier number 5, Chad May.
And they've done this drill before too. That was the no backs quarterback sneak. It worked once before on the 3rd down conversion.
Terry Keneally, number 99, and Dante Jones, number 84, down on the bottom of the pile. And
I tell you what,
Auburn now's taking the lead. Chad May is very upset.
Yeah, he must, you know, this might have been some pro wrestling. Oh, he got a face rake.
A little pummeling going on.
Eye gouging going on in there.
Yeah, well,
everything but the foreign substance that's so prevalent in this business. Yeah, pulled it out of the old hip pad.
Yeah, he's complaining. He got the first down, however, but he paid a bit of a price. People who haven't played the game don't know what goes on in those piles sometimes.
Here it as Christian Peter gets a hand on him. That's Ed Stewart now, 32, gets in there. Now you can see where his face, you know, they're trying to strip the football and do whatever they can. But I think he got gouged in the right eye, and he comes off to the sidelines. He's going to get checked out on the sideline.
And Kansas State is going to take a timeout here to do just that with 10:02 to go in the second quarter. Obviously, you can't have your quarterback's vision impaired. And it may be that as they're attending to him, he got scratched or cut. We'll find out. Gary Reasons is down on the sideline. We'll try to get a report. We'll be back. You can see they're still looking at Chad's eye and the area around it.
Well, if you have a quarterback who can't see, you've got a problem.
They're checking the area, not only the eye itself, which may have been poked, but around the eye. And now they're administering a drop, I think, to help clean up his vision a little bit.
Well, here's a tough kid. He's out of Upland, California. You know, he was overlooked by a lot of colleges when he came out of high school. Then Cal State Fullerton closed down their college program, and he tried to get into UCLA. They weren't interested. And finally came here to Kansas State, but he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think that's why he's such a fiery competitor out there on the football field. And this is just going to get him going that much more.
1st and 10. The ball at the 28, and now there's movement along the line again, and flags fly. Ross Greenwood, number 79, one of the offensive guards for Kansas State, appeared to jump too soon.
I don't know if I'm mic'd up or not. Am I up?
Repeat first dog.
On the right side, number 71's Ross Greenwood. Big 8 academic. 79, I'm sorry. But he just flinched again in his stance. And, you know, there's been a lot of this going on in the interior line because May changes calls. Those linemen have to stay in a stance. They hear an audible, you know, and they're like springs that are completely tightened up and ready to unwind themselves. And, you know, we've seen it on both sides.
Yeah, when the defense moves, sometimes it's hard not for an offensive lineman to react in some way. So it's 1st and 15. May will go down at the 38 in the grasp of Christian Peter, number 55. Peter, a junior from Locust, New Jersey, at 6'2" and 285.
And he's a great athlete. He's got 36-inch vertical jump, but this is a coverage sack. I mean, May steps up. He's got to get rid of the football. He has been able to in rhythm, but with the coverage of the Nebraska secondary, he has no place to go once he tries to bring the football down and run.
The ball back at the 38, so now it'll be 2nd and about 20 yards to go. Shovel pass to J.J. Smith, and Nebraska all over it with Phil Ellis, number 41.
Pass was complete to number 22, J.J. Smith.
Well, Phil Ellis plays middle linebacker here with Nebraska. He splits time with Doug Coleman. He's a little quicker. You see 41 right there. Now, this is a play. Oh, you can see where the two guards collide with one another on the shovel pass and just completely blow. They're blocking assignments, and that allows Coleman to come through, or Ellis to come through and make the tackle.
It is a loss of 4 back to the 42, so it'll be 3rd and 24 for Kansas State.
Real mix up there as Greenwood pulled right and Holman's pulled left, and you got two guys canceling one another out, and they're supposed to be your blockers. You're not going to get a whole lot of places to run.
You are by yourself. Play action. May under pressure, lost the football. Kansas State has recovered. It looked like Jason Johnson, number 64, the center, may have come up with the ball. There were 2 Nebraska players there as well.
Well, he's a former tight end, and that could be the best catch he's ever had in a Wildcat uniform. As pressure came from Terry Keneally, number 99, grew up in a ranch playing 8-man football. He just burst through from the right side of that Nebraska front. And watch Keneally, 99. I mean, he just beats his blocker cleanly right there. Boom. And as the ball flies up in the air, it gets around, and you are right. It looked like Jason Johnson, 64, got on it.
Now a penalty flag is thrown. There's Keneally. Dwayne Harris, number 86 of Nebraska, had a chance to get the football, and Johnson beat him to it. But a flag was thrown after all of this was sorted out.
He may have an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Terry Turlington will tell us.
Football foul. Unsportsmanlike conduct. On Nebraska. First down.
Oh, boy, what a break.
I mean, it was 4th down and a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And the penalty will give Kansas State a first down.
And that's uncharacteristic of a Tom Osborne coach team. But I believe the Nebraska players were so adamant about the fact that they recovered the fumble, they got upset, probably said the wrong thing to the official. Again, Keneally comes through, 99, forces the ball up in the air. Now you see 64 in purple. That's Johnson, the center. Now he's the first guy that has a shot at this, but it's around his legs. And as he works his way back into the football, an awful lot happens that I can't even begin to describe right here.
Dwayne Harris,
time permitted.
was fighting him for the ball. But a break for Kansas State after Nebraska's defense had pushed them back. From the 33, 1st and 10, J.J. Smith. Inside the 25. Brought down in the secondary by Baron Miles and Ed Stewart.
And good football teams take advantage of opportunities. And the Wildcat team here gets a break on the unsportsmanlike penalty, and they're able to move the football very well here on 1st down. Here's number 86, Dwayne Harris, as he over-pursues. You know, the Nebraska front, I think, is so geared towards stopping May, they're not even recognizing running plays. In a couple instances now, J.J. Smith has been able to burst through and get a first down, as he did here, rushing the football, which, you know, is not the strong suit here of Kansas State.
Kansas State, with the help of that penalty, has now had the ball for 5 minutes, and they have driven 62 yards so far. West Virginia big over Pitt in the 2nd quarter, and they're underway in the Ivy League. Georgia leading Vanderbilt in the 1st. Nothing doing on the left side, and maybe even a loss. There is some serious jawing going on. Christian Peter, number 55, led the charge along with Troy Dumas against JJ. And he'll lose a couple.
Well, you know, none of these football players were even born the last time Kansas State beat Nebraska. And, you know, they'll talk to you and say, well, the rivalry is this and that, but we're only around for the 3 or 4 years that we're here. But it means a lot to this Kansas State team, believe me.
Nebraska, one of the premier programs in the country, certainly on top as long or longer than any other school that plays college football. May going into the end zone, tipped away at the last second by Miles. Another great play by Baron Miles, trying to avoid another great catch by Kevin Lockett.
Yeah, Miles is only 5'8", 165 pounds, but he plays a lot bigger than that as a cornerback. One-on-one coverage again. He's the best coverage guy here for Nebraska. Watch how he sets his feet, does not interfere with the defender, and just bats that ball away.
He's part of the itty-bitty committee. They got a bunch of DBs out there, 5'8", 5'9", but they can play.
Again, you can see the accuracy, though, of Chad May, though, as that ball was thrown beautifully right over the top where Miles could, all he could do was bat it away.
3rd and 12. Complete to Mitch running, but he will be well short of the first down as Tyrone Williams was right there. In fact, almost knocked the ball away and made the tackle immediately.
Yeah, Williams, you see, they try and run a pattern where they get him to believe he's breaking inside, then they break back out. But Williams, again, with excellent coverage, the throw right on the money. I mean, Williams could not knock it away, but I'm impressed with Williams' coverage as he recognized the pattern and the change in the pattern. The uncover route is what they like to call this, and he's going to get geared up here to block the field goal.
Martin Gramatica, a freshman from LaBelle, Florida, will attempt a 37-yarder. It is up, and it is no good, off to the right. Just missing to the right. Gramatica, I think, thought it went through. 5:47 to go in the second quarter. Kansas State holds the ball for a long time, but comes away with nothing. Nebraska still leads by a point. And cannot get outside. The first guy there was number 43, Deshaun Fogel, and then he got a lot of help from his friends, but now we've got 2 or 3 flags on the ground. And they're going after each other again.
Yeah, they are. Deshaun Fogel recognizes the misdirection play. This is a play that Nebraska likes to run well. You can see where the tackle Uyghur gets knocked out. And let's see if there's a face mask. Yes, there is. Deshaun Fogel guilty of grabbing onto the face mask, and that's why the flags are on the ground. You know, I was talking to Osborne, and
Minister from the line of scrimmage. First down.
you know, he quipped to me with Matt Turman being the quarterback. He said he had about 15 different players come up to him, pull him aside, and say, you know, Coach, I used to play quarterback, and, you know, I really think I can. He said it's unbelievable how many volunteers he's had to play quarterback here in Nebraska.
Well, so far, Turman's doing a pretty good job. The penalty makes it 1st and 5 just outside the 25. Lawrence Phillips has the first down again. Finally stopped and thrown down at about the 34. Chris Canty 17 and Chuck Marlowe 21, the free safety. Purcell Gaskins, the linebacker, also there.
And this is the best run blocking line. Great block backside 76. Joe Wilkes, you know, that left side doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but they're darn good football players too. And that's where the seam is created, right in the middle of that Kansas State defense. Look at the strength of Phillips, though. I mean, he had the whole team on his back, and he was still able to inch out a few more yards.
I think he plays a lot bigger than 200 pounds. And I'll tell you what, a guy that can't be overlooked is the fullback, Corey Schlesinger, who almost every play gets a solid block.
Reminds you of Tim Rathman a little bit, doesn't he?
He does. I think that was a busted play, and Turman tried to get something out of it. Maybe a yard. Laird Veach, number 54, waiting for him.
Yeah, Schlesinger, number 40, probably should have gone to the left side of the quarterback. You can see where Turman reverses out, almost loses the football, then turns back upfield to get what he can. You know, and that's headsy play, not trying to try too much there. You know, up until now, Turman was known as being a walk-on quarterback, and he's famous because his uncle married Tom Osborne's wife's sister. But all of a sudden, he's the starting quarterback in Nebraska.
That's right. Well, that didn't come off very well either, as Turman is stopped at the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 9. So it's going to be 3rd and long. Dirk Oaks, number 94, a junior from Overland Park, Kansas, and Tim Colston, 92, who's had a big game already. It's 3rd and 8.
Here's the situation that the Kansas State defense wants, and that's to get Nebraska into an obvious throwing situation. They're not comfortable just dropping back and throwing the football. They like to do it off some sort of play action.
To Phillips, incomplete. He led him too far, and Marlowe was right there. Chuck Marlowe's had a fine game at free safety, a junior from Youngstown, Ohio, who anticipated that play perfectly.
But I mean, again, that's 3 third-down plays here, where on 3rd and long they've gone to this football play, and I think you're going to get Phillips killed if you keep going back to this 3rd and long swing pass. Florida
has come back and leads Auburn by a point in the second quarter. Well, that's some kind of game, and it was expected to be. Darren Erstad on the punt. Mitch running back, and pressure again on Erstad, but he gets it away. Running, calling for the fair catch, comes up and hauls it in at the 29. Just over 3.5 minutes left to go. A flag goes down at the point of the fair catch. A 34-yard punt by Erstad, and yet another penalty on the play.
Osborne's getting a little hot under the collar. A lot of penalties early in this football game.
Terry Turlington with more airtime.
5-yard penalty in the buffer zone. First down.
There it is.
So they're saying Nebraska was too close to the fair catch by running. And there's Brooke Behringer warming up on the sideline for Nebraska. Will he be coming in to add another dimension, as he's a little better passer than Turman? That's what Brooke has done for his career. And you see with Tommy Frazier, neither of them have played that much. Again, the 5 wideout spread formation for Kansas State, but May now changes the play, walks up to the line, and puts JJ behind him. On first down, flags again. JJ will gain just a couple, but Nebraska jumping, and it looked like it was Terry Keneally on the stop.
I think it was Dwayne Harris, 86, at the bottom of the screen, the left defensive end, who jumped off. And I'm really surprised that we're seeing this happen this much for Nebraska now.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
See number 86 there in his 3-point stance. Oops, you know, he's in the neutral zone. The ball is snapped. And that's 5 yards again. So this happened quite a few times now, especially in the last 2 drives here against Nebraska.
Well, right here, Kansas State has gained 10 yards without really running a play, basically. The penalty on the fair catch, followed by the offsides penalty. They're 10 yards further up the field without gaining it. Now May looks like he's changing the play again. He's only got 5 seconds left on the shot clock, or the game clock. The play clock with 1 second. And it's going to be second down and 5.
You know, he recognized the blitz. He recognized he didn't have enough protection. He got out of the play, got into another play. But I think he was so excited. He put so much velocity on that football that Smith just couldn't hold on to it.
If he had, it might have knocked him down. Well, Chad May does a lot of check with me, apparently, because he's changing the play and running that play clock down virtually every single time. They're breaking the huddle now, and they only have 4 seconds left on the play clock.
Now he called timeout.
Now he's got to call timeout. They have been pushing it and pushing it on every play. That's their second timeout. They have 1 more remaining here in the half, and we have 3:02 left to play in the first half. And again, we're updating you on everything else that's happening and will happen in college football today.
Well, he's having a good chat with Bill Snyder, who's telling him what he wants him to do. And, you know, it's certainly a good decision there to get out of losing 5 yards. You know, the one thing about May, Snyder told us he's going to check off 30 to 40% of the time, Steve, because he has such great understanding. He said, you know, he's not a tool of this offense. He understands this offense, and he makes this offense work for him.
Well, he's been very impressive. There's no doubt about that. When we talked at the beginning of the telecast about how this game centers on the QB for each team, and has been so true. I think it's very interesting to see what Nebraska does. If they have an opportunity here before the end of the half, will they bring Behringer in and try to put the ball up a little more before halftime?
Behringer is going to get checked out throughout the game. I talked to him yesterday, and he told me, you know, I said, you have a doctor here with a stethoscope, and, you know, you had x-rays last week. How does this work for you today if you play? He says, you know, I can feel it. He said, it's so painful that I can tell when it's collapsing. You know, here's the only quarterback in the nation whose percentages is lung collapse, not completion percentage.
And he's got a whole body armor practically that he's going to wear if he goes out there in an effort to protect him. 2nd and 5. May looking down the far sideline, incomplete. It was intended for Tyson Schweiger, and Tyrone Williams had the cover.
Tyson Schweiger, incomplete. Defending on the play was number 8, Tyrone Williams.
Tyrone Williams with good coverage just forces Schweiger out of the bounds area and goes up and knocks the ball away. You know, again, Nebraska loves this man-to-man coverage. They're not going to get away from it. Kansas State saw Wyoming have a lot of success throwing for over 300 yards a couple weeks ago against Nebraska, and saw some things that they felt they could do. And I talked about that Wyoming game with Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator. He said it was like basketball on grass. He said they're setting so many picks out there. He said our guys like playing basketball.
Play clock down to 1 second as they just get it off. May intended for running. What a catch.